Hi guys, Neff here, and today I've got something really interesting and fun. And I even have the original packaging for it, which I really like. I'm always excited to add to the collection. So what we've got is an Abus Pfaffenhain, I believe that is pronounced. This is called the Wavy Line Profile WLP. Let's get it open and take a look at it. I've worked with this lock a little bit already, and it just has a lot of cool features. So you get your code card. I really love collecting these. You get these with restricted key locks, where you would have to take this card to a locksmith in order to get a new key made for it. Got all that packaging, and what we have here is a €0.5 WLP on that. We've got Abus. There's our keyway. Talk a little bit about it in a minute. First, let's take a look at the key here. So pretty cool. This side here is actually what pushes up the top pin stack, which isn't the normal bitting you would be used to seeing in just any old standard key. Let's take a look at this twin 6K key. So yeah, you've got your normal key bitting like you would see. Obviously that is nothing like that, so that's kind of cool. And on some keys, you have a sidebar, like this would be for an ACID Twin 6K, and that's for your sidebar. Well, the WLP, the Wavy Line Profile, does have kind of a sidebar. It's not a sidebar, but it has these 4 pieces of bitting here, and you can actually see they are different. We got like a deep, shallow, deep, shallow, and it actually pushes on ball bearings in here. You can see one of them right there on the left side of the keyway. There's our first pin. There's one of our ball bearings. So it's kind of hard to see the rest, but when I was first picking this, I thought those were just for key control, which you'd put it in there, it'd be passive, but it would make sure that you were using a key and not just picking at it. But it turns out they actually do need to be set in some form or fashion. Now, this lock is not extremely difficult, but it has a ton of cool features in it. It has cool key pins, cool drivers. It has the I'm going to call it a sidebar mechanism, even though it's quasi-sidebar. It has that sidebar mechanism, and I just think it's a really interesting lock to put in here. So let's try and get this picked and get it open, get you a look at it, because I think you guys will really enjoy seeing what the inside of this lock looks like. Let's get a nice angle on that. No, that's not a great angle. Let's see if we can put it up there. And that'll work. All right. So, like I said, it's not that hard. I don't really have to worry too much about the tools I use. Sometimes I use this big old hefty hook that I made, or I'll use this. I played with it a little bit. First time I ever popped it open, I got it. It was on the same day I got it, and it only took me a few minutes, but then I pulled it back out because I just thought it'd be so great to do a video, and it actually took me a long time, and it's because I was mistaking what to do with that sidebar. And I was taking this in, I was tensioning, and I was pushing all those ball bearings really hard over, and I believe maybe I was oversetting some of them. So while they don't require precise setting, you don't want to just slam them all over. So I am going down the keyway right now, and I'm just turning into each ball bearing. I'm not going extraordinarily hard. My tension is pretty tight though. So I'm just getting them basically out of the way to start picking. So now we're there. I'm starting at the back. There's 6 pins in here. That was 6. Low click on 5. Baby click on 4. Nothing on 3, 2, 1 is binding. Click on 1. Little click on 3. That was 2. And 2, am I getting counter rotation on 2? Did I start a spool there? I got some core movement, so I'm checking that. Okay, 2 may have been a spool, but I just got another click on it. I'm gonna check those ball bearings. That little click was ball bearing number 4 doing something. Alright, we move some ball bearings around. I'm not really sure what I'm clicking off of that. It's just the back of the core. Alright, everything feels good there. So when you get to a point that you're either mush or set on your key pins, it seems like it's time to start playing around with ball bearings. However, this has some really cool security pins in it. And sometimes something that is set may just need another tap. And that was 5, and I did just have to push that up higher. We got another click on it. Ooh. And we are picked. That was 4, I believe, finished it off there. Something I had to push up just a little bit further. Let's go ahead and see what's inside of this. Now, I have gutted this, but it did not go well. I ruined this shim. I dropped parts. I ended up finding everything. But that's why we're going to go ahead and do this all over again. So, I put it completely back together so that I could, I think we'll keep it picked, so that I could take it apart fully, because in not many of my videos do I show this. So I may just run this in time lapse and talk about it more once everything's open, because I am not a fast gutter and this may take me a while. First we have to get the C-clip off. This is Lock Noob's our C-clip circlip removal tool. Very worthwhile purchase for me so far. Alrighty guys, let's talk pieces. First we'll just take a quick look at the cylinder here. So we have this standard Bible stack going down, and then we've got what would be those sidebar pin stacks. Now as you can see, there's 5 chambers in there, and chamber 5 in the back does not do anything. No spring, no pin. I thought maybe it'd be some sort of core retainer, but nothing came in that. So it could be something that is used in a different lock. Matter of fact, it even has a 5th plug there. So, you know, who knows? Sorry, that was my puppy barking. So now if you hear this, I don't know if you can hear that, but those are the ball bearings that are in it. And it's all held in place by this, which seems to have had a little machining crimp or staking done to it. So they put the ball bearings in there, put this over it, stake it. This does not move. It's not like a sidebar mechanism that moves. So that's why I said it's like a quasi sidebar, because it's actually a pin stack. So it's like a second pin stack. You will push on the ball bearings that are in there that you can kind of see right now, and I'm trying to see, yeah, so if I go this way, they're completely disappeared because they're into the core. They fall into the keyway. And if we go that way, there they are. So you'll push on those ball bearings, which will push on one of these pins, which will push into that, and your shear line is, of course, in between both of those. So you have a driver and a quasi key pin sidebar pin. It's really interesting. So let's zoom in on this. Actually, there's one more part. You can see that ball bearing in the top left of the tray right here. This ball bearing, I am not 100% sure what purpose it serves besides maybe a small amount of drill protection, but it just rolls around right in that hole right there. It rolls free. It doesn't catch in anything, and in the cylinder itself, there's nothing for it to catch on. So, and I just dumped some springs. I was trying to keep the springs in there and just take one of each out for us, but of course I'm a special guy, so I like to make all these mistakes and lose all my parts. I put that back in there, so let's go ahead and put a follower in this. Alright, so we're gonna follower that without ruining a spring. Here we go. This piece is just what goes on the back. It'll go inside of this through the back of the core, and right there you will have that spring and that detent, and that's just kind of what holds it all in place for whatever you're going to open. There's our C-clip, of course. So let's look at these pins. Let's check these out. I think this is just super cool. I like the ball bearing design for that second pin stack, and on top of that, I love the security pins that are in here. So we've got our driver pin. This is for the second pin stack. You have that side's up at the spring, and then if I can turn it over, there you go. So it's got that angle, just matches the core angle, so that when you're at shear, it has to be curved, of course, because it is a circular chamber. And you'll see there's a taper on there. I would assume that makes it easy to overset them, and that might have been my issue when I was just slamming all the ball bearings in. It was probably catching lower than this taper instead of at the shear line. It also has, and I don't know if that helps anything, and it's kind of hard to see on this one. It has one serration there, but some of these have two. I don't know what that catches on either. It could be a marking for what size it is, because the ones with one were matching the ones with one serration on it match the short depth. Or actually, that would be the deep depth. The ones with two serrations match the depth that doesn't push it very far in. So other than these possibly being slightly different, this would match this, and this would match this. They don't look very different though, but I'm sure there's something to that. It's just probably not very pronounced. All the drivers match. Now we got this. So we've got a mix of brass and steel key pins and drivers in the standard regular stack in the Bible. So steel standard driver, steel key pin with not great focus. There we go. We've got a brass spool, it looks like. Real nice spool. Steel key pin in chamber 3, big steel driver. And we've got this, I think it's brass. It might not be brass, but it does look yellower. No, it's probably steel. So another steel key pin. And now we get into another security pin. This one is tapered, not tapered at both ends. It has a step at both ends. I'm actually not 100% sure what kind of name you might give that, but you can see it has a step on both sides. It isn't a taper, a smooth taper. It actually steps in there, so you can get caught on that thinking you're set when it really needs to get tapped one more time. We have another spool. And like I said, first security key pin I've ever encountered in a lock. I've encountered security drivers, but security key pins I've not seen in factory locks. I mean, I've seen them, I just not in anything I've picked. So here we go. It's just tapered off at the top there. So I guess that would make it feel weird or give you a false set, make it easy to overset, things like that. Let's get you down there. And then we've got that one, I do believe actually is brass. But yep, key pin. Yeah, it might just be the yellow light in here, so it could be steel all the way across. This one is more tapered than stepped. It has like a chamfered, I wouldn't call it chamfered, as chamfer's on an angle, but a rounded chamfer on either side there. So you'll get that set and may need to tap it one more time. It'll put you in false set city for a bit. So I just thought that was interesting. I think this is a great lock. What's interesting though is you see all these amazing ideas in play, and it's actually a really easy lock, which kind of bugs me because this is a great recipe for security, but this lock is not very difficult. And if you have access to one, the WLP Wavy line profile, I think you should really add it to your collection if you can get one. It's really cool, like we're seeing here. It's quite easy to learn on. Picking techniques, and you get access to these security pins. I could have gotten an easy one. The spools don't even give me counter rotation because of the binding order in here. And then 5's driver and 6's driver pretty much sets instantly with maybe another tap later. Same thing with 4 here. Matter of fact, that's what set us loose. It stepped in, and then at the end I had to just tap it one more time and life was good. So it can give you that cool feeling where you feel that feedback from the security pins and really understand what's going on. And then I love this idea for the ball bearing to key pin to driver. I'd love to see that implemented better if possible, to make almost a double pin stack lock. Be super cool. I mean, we've seen that with sidebars that have, what people call finger pins, sidebar pins, but those sidebar pins don't have a driver pin and a key pin, and especially not a ball bearing in it. But yeah, I just think it's a great idea, but it is easy, so feel free to get one in your collection, throw it on the vise and pick it. If you have any locks you'd like to see, I'll go over my collection at some point and maybe take some votes. If there's anything I could do better or any suggestions you want to put in the comments, feel free to leave me something there. Like and subscribe for more videos, guys. Have a great day.